Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Tech Teamtronics channel where we're going to tinker and learn. Today, we're going to be discussing selecting a Linux distribution that would fit your needs. What is a Linux distribution? You may be familiar with the larger Linux company names such as Red Hat, RHEL, CentOS, Fedora, Ubuntu, and SUSE. There are literally thousands of smaller companies and organizations that also create Linux distributions, examples of which can be seen on websites similar to distrowatch. We will take a look at distrowatch in this video and we'll see what kind of distros we can find on Linux. There are all companies or organizations that have created their own distributions or flavors of Linux. There are distributions to cater to everyone's needs. Probably too many distributions. In this video, we'll highlight some of the popular distros that you can be seeing, and you can search distros on distrowatch. Now, the basics in any distribution, the fundamentals stay the same. There's always the Linux kernel, the core component of the Linux operating system, which Linus Torvalds back in the day wrote. The kernel is the interface between the hardware and your computer, such as keyboards, mice, displays, etc., and the software. The default GNU software to like its basics is RM. These are mainly command line based utilities which make a core but critical part of any Unix system. Think of it as a kernel as a bus between the hardware and the software. Think of these like a local kit that you need to keep the bus on the road. General software to be expected in a desktop Linux distribution usually would include software such as text editors, web browser, email client, and probably a word processor or like a software suite. What differs from distribution to distribution? General software such as Office apps, program languages, games, and graphic software. Some of the distributions are created to be lightweight and don't ship with much software. Some are quite opposite. It all depends on what you need as a user. Most of the time you can install the software easily if it isn't pre-bundled. Then you have the costs. Whether you don't pay or pay a little or pay a lot for a distribution depends on what you intend to get from it and the business model with the distributor. For example, Red Hat Enterprises, RHEL, and SUSE, both commercial Linux distributions which have business level support contracts. They offer telephone, hotlines, and round-the-clock service based on support for businesses that rely on Linux systems right up to mission critical needs. Paying for software does not necessarily indicate its superiority among other choices, but you're paying for the licensing, documentation, staff overhead, feature enhancements, and telephone support, etc. Now, you also have to look at the quality of software. Sometimes it can be buggy, and sometimes it can be really on spot. Then you have to look at the documentation and the manuals. Some come with documentation, some don't. And a lot of times you have to figure out what you're trying to do within that operating system. Now, installation software, distributions often use various methods of packaging up their software. For Red Hat based systems like RHEL, CentOS, and Fedora, and SUSE, this is the RPM standard used by many, such as VJM and Debian-based systems like Ubuntu and Linux use the APT, which is effectively mostly irrelevant these days. However, it still works. Currently, some distributions go months or even years without being updated, so they may consider a release stable and therefore don't provide an update unless a major security fix or they are good and ready to update. Some distributions generally are more niche ones, and then they wind up and then they shut down. So it's like, there's such a niche market that the interest in them is so low. Then you have the varying levels of support, many of which common distros have well-established community support on forums and chat channels. Some of them offer free Linux installation software, but you can also opt in for support contract. And then there's ease of use. So, in conclusion, the distribution you choose may get a better set of options with the distribution X over distribution Y. However, Y may suit your specific needs more than X in some cases. The choice is for you to decide. I'm currently here at DistroWatch. As you can see, there's a lot to this site. I frequently come here and we can take a look at some of what they have to offer. Like what you see here is the latest news and updates. They have new distribution release Manjaro Linux 21.0. And you can read all about it and everything. And then you have like SME server, and then so on and so forth. And these are the latest updates of these projects. And then you could go into it, you get all the information you need. You could go and you could download the ISOs and everything that you need to run it. And then I'll break down this. There's also rankings. So you can see various data spans for various periods of time. You see the page hit ranking. How many people, and there's so many distros out there that you could get, lost, really. Also, too, they have the search. You could search for different distributions. They have like an advanced search feature. Let's see if we can find like an advanced search. So, I mean, they have like all the various distributions listed. Let's see. Then, okay, this takes me to the, you could search for all types of different criteria. And this is beyond the search simple search form. So I have interest in forensics. So what comes up is Kali Linux, Parrot, and let's see what Parrot is. But first, let me take a look at Kali Linux. For those that don't know, formerly known as Backtrack, is a Debian-based distribution with a collection of security and forensic tools. It features timely security updates, support for ARM architecture, a choice of 4 popular desktop environments, and seamless upgrades to newer versions. Also, we have Parrot, formerly known as Parrot Security OS. It's a Debian-based security-oriented distribution featuring a collection of utilities designed for penetration testing, computer forensics, reverse engineering, hacking, privacy, anonymity, and cryptography. The product developed by Forensic Box comes with Mate as a desktop environment. That's something we might go ahead and look at on this channel. And then they have Black Arc and so on and so forth. Based upon the search I typed in forensic. Pretty neat. Well, hey, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I have for this episode of Tinker and Learn. You could get like many distros to suit your needs. You could try and buy. Maybe in another video we'll try the different methods in which you could try the different distros, such as getting a hypervisor and installing it on top of your Windows 10 system, or if you look in my other videos, how I run my network with Proxmox and all that stuff. But that's neither here nor there. I want to thank you guys for watching the video. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. If you haven't already, hit the like button on your way out, and be sure to check out all my links in the comment section. Thanks for watching and have a great day.